All right, we'll have a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call this meeting of the Monongalia County Commission to order this March 26, 2025, 10-ish a.m. We are, all three county commissioners and our administrator are present, and we will first move to consent and approval with said administrator, Renata McClure. Good morning.
Right. We have no exonerations to approve today. Minutes for March 19th, 2025. Vouchers, General County Fund, $149,813.85. Coal Severance, $1,400. Chestnut Ridge Park, $14,019.45. Camp Muffley, $1,983.68. Mason-Dixon Park, $1,222.70. Long County Center, $1,082.48. Payroll, $1,170,703.27. Purchasing card, General County, $12,449.44. Magistrate Court, $1777. Chestnut Ridge Park, $76.48. Camp Muffley, $152.96. Mason-Dixon Park, $202.95. Mon County Center, $139.19. Assessor's valuation, $56.20. For a voucher total of $1,353,320.42. We have budget revisions for state approval for general fund, federal grants, and law enforcement. Position vacancies for boards and authorities listed on our website, and fiduciary orders for March 26, 2025.
We approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
We have first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have our under fiduciary administrative closure of estates. Statutorily, the legislature put in effect several years ago that if states are stagnant and not moving, and no action's been taken, then they are administratively closed. And that is time for that again right now. So do we have anyone here to speak to any estates that are on the list? No? Good. So do we have any? What is the commission's will on this action?
I move that the county clerk's office proceed with the administrative closure of the listing of estates as presented with no exceptions.
Second.
The first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Moving on.
Well,
Introduction of new employees, personnel changes. We have several. First, we have Camp Muffley. We have our Director of Parks, J.R. Petsko, to present our new superintendent at Camp Muffley Park. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning.
What have you got for us?
We have Aaron Hall here today. He is going to be our new superintendent, as you said, at Camp Muffley. His salary will be $35,000, and he will be living on the property here once we get things settled.
Wonderful.
I move that we approve the personnel as presented.
second.
The first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm
Look
excited.
forward to working with you
All
out
right.
there.
Thank you. You all have a great day.
Thanks, JR.
Thank you. Yeah, now go to work.
Next, we have a new ag agent for the extension office. We have Becca Finn Clark to present.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all
Good morning.
doing?
Great.
I'm
Good to
very
see you.
excited to
Great.
introduce to you Sarah Agetti. She will be taking our open position of office manager. So I was going to have her introduce herself to you.
Wonderful.
I'm Sarah Ejetti, lived in Morgantown for a while, worked with WVU, the WVU Foundation, and I took some time off to raise my kids, and now I'm excited to get back into the working world and excited to work with Becca and the team. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful.
Well, we're excited to finally have you. So I move that we approve the personnel as presented.
Second.
The first and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right.
Next, we have an employee for the circuit clerk.
Yes, sir. This is part-time seasonal. Rate of pay is $10 an hour. Her name is Josie May Rose Dalton. And her start date is March 31st.
She's going to be, I believe, tasked with charging the old,
Scanning civil files.
scanning the old civil files.
Move that we approve the personnel as presented.
Second.
A first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, youth services.
We've got two people that are moving from part-time to full-time as youth crisis workers. We have Mackenzie Hickey and Malcolm Caldwell. Rate of pay is $33,280 per year. This is a benefit eligible position, and they are both starting the full-time, two full-time on April 1st.
Great.
Move that we approve the personnel as presented.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have comments from the public at this time. This is the public comment section of our meeting. You have 1 to 3 minutes to come forward, state your name and address, and state anything that you would like to bring up to us. So I will open comments from the public. Do we have anyone from the public that wishes to comment? It does not appear that we do. So, absent objection, I will close comments from the public. Next, we have Colleen Kuhn, our
Kroon?
grants coordinator and office manager for grants. Good morning, Ms. Kuhn.
Good morning. I have grant application for the Community Corrections Grant. The request is for $228,992. So you will need to sign that and an MOU between the Commission and the local Community Criminal Justice Board.
Great.
Move that we approve the grant documents as presented.
Second.
A first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have correspondence. We have receipt of an application from Timothy Driscoll for appointment to the Monongalia County Board of Health. So
We don't currently have an opening there, so we'll hold his application until
Great.
something comes up.
Next, we have receipt of final report from Catholic Charities, West Virginia regarding the warming shelter.
Commissioner Bloom, you have any comments?
Well, I mean, I appreciate getting the total and final report. I am very concerned that, again, we're below 50% of the people that we are housing there are not from our area. And this is a concern I have, and I know that it is something that the commissioners, are concerned, well, I, as a commissioner, am concerned about, and I think we need to really look at this situation. I'll be quiet after that.
Okay, we got a situation in there.
Situation, I had to get my word in.
Any other correspondence, Sean?
No, I don't
Tom?
have anything.
Yes, I have two. First of all, as you remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we passed a budget to have our building painted at New Hill Community Park, and we also had requested the New Hill Park sign also be redone. There was some confusion, so I requested in writing a letter, and we got from Kathy Probst, the president, that the New Hill Community Committee met on Sunday, March 23rd, to discuss Eddie Myers painting the New Hill sign with the community. So I'm going to contact Eddie to verify that the sign can also be painted now. So that's the first. The second is some also good news. Got this from Louise Michael, 3rd Ward City Councilwoman. Commissioners, I want to thank you for participating in our first county WVU City DOH volunteer cleanup. Our first project will be focused on the Star City / exit 155 side of town. We will be meeting at the CVS parking lot in Star City this Saturday, March 29th from 9 a.m., and that's to 11, and then Sunday, March 30th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. I look forward to participating in a project that will benefit and help our county and city thrive. And I do want to say that she's worked really hard on getting the DOH. In fact, they're going over there today to talk with the DOH and get the materials, and I want to thank the county commissioners for also supporting this project.
Great. Any other? Okay, great.
We got a notice from the City of Morgantown Interim City Manager Damian Davis regarding a public hearing related to proposed amendments to the City of Morgantown Redevelopment District Number 3, which I believe is the Sunnyside Up
Yes.
TIF district. They are proposing an amendment to the boundaries of the TIF and an extension of the TIF district termination date by 15 years. They will be having this public hearing on April 22nd at 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you. No more
And I believe they're scheduled to come in next week to do a presentation to you all on proposed changes. So,
Okay. Seeing no more correspondence, we have no unfinished business. On the new business. First, to consider approval of the fiscal year 2026 county budget.
I move that we approve the Monongalia County fiscal year 2026 budget as presented and submit to the West Virginia State Auditor's Office for approval.
Second with discussion.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, this was I think I say this every year, this is probably one of our more challenging years, because this year we had a couple things happen on the revenue side that we weren't expected, mainly driven by valuation changes on Class 3 properties, and as it relates to how the state values oil and gas properties. So Class 3 actually experienced a decrease in valuation of 18.95%, which caused an overall 6.72 decrease in valuation across all three classes. So that number in itself represented about a $2.5 million decrease in property taxes, or essentially a 10.99% decrease. So our current budget for this fiscal year, 25, is $47,060,403. The budget that we're proposing for fiscal year 26 is $43,675. I'm sorry, $43,675,929. That's a decrease of $3,384,474, or 7.1% decrease. Again, as I indicated, most of the decrease in property taxes is what driving that, but we have some other anomalies too. Because as you notice, property taxes decreased by almost 11%, but the overall budget's only decreasing by 7%. So there were some good things, some bad things. Oil and gas revenues were decreasing by about $750,000, so that's all driving that revenue side. We won't talk too much about the levy rate. The levy rate that this budget's predicated on is the 11 cents per $100 of valuation. We'll set the levy rate in April, but this budget is predicated on the same levy rate, so that levy rate will not be changing. It will be official when we lay the levy in April, but that levy rate will remain the same. By major categories, just a couple items. That 675,929 number is broken down by general government, which is about 55% of the budget, public safety, 33.38, health and sanitation, about 2.15, culture and recreation, about 4.8, social services, 1.6%, and capital projects about almost 3%. Again, those numbers, the biggest change from last year is would be experienced in general government, which is we'll see a decrease of about $2 million in that category. When we're looking across our constitutional offices, the good news is we're still, our constitutional offices take up 43.74% of the entire budget, and we're across all the constitutional offices, we're still funding about 4.11% more than last year. That represents about a $754,000 increase over last year. So we're still funding the constitutional offices as we should, and actually a decrease in those areas. When you look across, when you break it down by sub-account, which is personal services, contracted services, commodities, capital outlays, transfers, and contingencies, the biggest change is an increase in personal services, which goes up about $872,000 over the current year. Contracted services also goes up by about $707,000, and all the other categories experience a decrease. The carryover, which is budgeted, I know the carryover gets a lot of conversation every year. The carryover that this budget is predicated on is $11.5 million. That's carryover is the funded projects and programs that will not be expensed in fiscal year '25. So you take that $11.5 million number, and you have to understand that 3.2 of that is contingency that doesn't have anything planned for it right now. And the goal is to try to get the contingency fund fully funded. I'll keep talking about contingency and skip over a few things here. Contingency reserve in this budget is still solid. In fiscal year '25, we are about 85% funded. In '26, we're still going to be about 72% funded. So we're still solid in regards to our contingency funding. And I'll kind of take a break and see if there's anything else that anybody else wants to talk about. But that's really, we have a revenue, it's pretty impressive to have a revenue drop of about 7% and still put forward a budget that increases spending where we need to and kind of still has a very, very robust contingency account. So I'll probably think of some other things to say, but if you guys want to jump in.
Along that line also, with the decrease, we were still able to fund over $1 million for social services and community health. In addition to that, a $500,000 to the health department that we contribute, so that's over $1.5 million for social services and community health. We had 60 grant applications, and 51 of those received some level of funding. 4 of those we gave funding through the opioid fund. So 92% of all the applicants are to grant some type of funding. Also, we have scheduled into this budget a level of pay raises for all county employees, not a flat rate across the board, but per department based upon discussions with the elected officials. And so there will be pay raises at various levels across the county. So I'm proud that we were still able to do that. And keeping in mind, too, we've built in an incredible increase for health insurance, which is we're looking at an unprecedentedly high increase in health insurance premiums, and we've built that. We don't know exactly what that's going to be yet. We've built in a hefty number of 1.5 million to allow for those changes. It could be higher, it could be lower, but that's conservatively what we're anticipating in an increase. So it's been a lot of work, but we managed to fit all this in. So, Tom?
Just, we are very fortunate to have a diversified economy. As Sean said, when we got the numbers, and if anyone looks, I mean, we're down roughly 6.72% decrease in valuations. You know, you're looking at several $1 million, and we had to sit, and I want to give credit to Renetta McClure and Sean. I counted my hours up that we met just on the budget. That's what we have done the last 4 weeks, and including the nonprofits and then the meetings, it was 41.5 hours to deal with this. I can only imagine the extra hours the two of you put in. I don't want to say it's a red flag down the road for the state of West Virginia and Mon County, but it's a yellow flag that we need to be very careful about moving forward. And we are very fortunate. We are able to cover it, but down the road, we need to be careful. We do not know what the state's going to do, and in their wisdom of cutting business taxes, that will affect us. And also, I believe, if I'm correct, all ARPA funds have to be expended by December of '26. Is that correct? So that money isn't going to be there anymore. So we are looking very carefully, diligently, and I have to give amazing credit to my fellow commissioners to come up with this budget, because we had some very long discussions. Not all of us agreed in areas, but I think the compromise is exceptional for the citizens of Monongalia County, and I think they will be pleased. So I don't know if you want to add more.
And that health insurance increase
Yes.
is real, and it's just not Mon County.
Right.
Again, our first estimate was 41% increase over last year's cost. That's a huge number to try to overcome in 1 year. That represents about 2.1 million. Anybody listen, Tom's mentioned that number
To every department.
at every meeting and every budget hearing, but it's a real number. Now, we expect that to get down to about, we expect to bring that number down.
Yes.
Hopefully, I hate to say, I hope it's in the 20%. I hope it's zero.
Right.
But realistically, we're expecting somebody somewhere probably a little bit under 20%, which is still a big number. And when we were in our MMPO meeting last week, they talked about the PEI increases that they have to put on their budget because they have PEIA, and those increases were 20%. So it's real. It's not something that, it's not voodoo math. It's not something that we're making up. And to get there, we're going to have a lot of discussions before we actually finalize our health insurance, in regards to what the plan composition is. And we're going to do our best to try to not, hurt anybody or have it affect any of our employees because they're our most important commodity. But it is real, and we've done an amazing job so far getting it to this point. And we hope that we can, going forward, this is the bellwether, and everything is going to be better than what we're projecting here. So, but we got to be careful. We have to be conservative in regards to the pay raises. The overall, and as Commissioner Arnett indicated, we started a new process last year where we, rather than waiting for final carryover, which comes through midsummer, we've asked the offices to plan the increases they want, to provide us detail as far as the increases that they'd like to make for their employees, and we hope that they would provide some detail into that. So this is the second year of that. This year we asked a lot more questions in regards to, okay, so what specifically are you doing to better serve our citizens, and how are they going to keep it up, and if there's any shortcomings, how are we going to address that? A lot of those discussions had to do with additional personnel. When we were going through the budget last year, we started a process where if there was a vacancy that didn't have realistic expectations of being hired in the very near future, and I think the marker we set was whether it was posted or not, we took those all out. So this year we took about $438,000 out of the submitted budget because they were vacancies that weren't going to be hired in the near future. We did that for our own commission budget. We did that for every budget across the county. So that helps us plan better. But as I said, there was targeted. Elected officers came in and they had targeted suggestions for how they wanted to, where they wanted different employees to be and where they wanted to be. Some offices came in and, just proposed an across-the-board number as far as dollars. Some proposed an across-the-board percentage. So we had to work with all that and try to honor as many requests as possible. And we ended up across the board, on average, all of our employees are, if you straight lined it, it's about 3.92% of all eligible employees that are eligible for a raise. So that's fairly significant given the revenue numbers that we've already been talking about. So overall, I appreciate all the work we've done. We've put in every year. It seems like we have to put in more and more to kind of work these numbers, but I sincerely appreciate your guys' efforts, Renetta, Colleen, all your effort on the grants. That process gets smoother and smoother every year, just like this process does. Behind the scenes, it's not as much. Renetta would probably disagree that it's as smooth, but I think this is a very, very robust budget and something I'm proud to put forward as our work product.
Yes.
No, I'll be quiet.
All right, we had a motion, a first and a second. All vote in favor to approve the fiscal year 2026 county budgets signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we have consideration to approve requisition number 37 for the Series 2021B Harmony Grove Phase 1 Project Fund.
Requisition is for $30,000, and those funds will be paid to Adrian Enterprises.
Move that we approve requisition number 37 for the Series 2021B Harmony Grove Phase 1 Project Fund as presented.
Second.
The first and the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, consideration of a request from the City of Westover for the donation of a generator formerly being used at the Catherine's Knob 911 tower site. This is pretty much what it sounds like. We had an older generator that we used to power that tower, and it was taken down several years ago. We've had it in storage at our warehouse. Westover learned of that and asked if we could spare it for their building, as they have no generator. So that's the request. What's the will of the commission?
I move that we approve the request as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, consideration for the commission to engage Steptoe and Johnson to represent the commission in litigation in support of certain provisions of the West Virginia Tax Increment Financing Act, approval of an engagement letter relating to same, and authorization for the president of the commission to execute and deliver such engagement letter.
Move that we approve the engagement letter as presented.
Second.
We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on, reports from elected officials. I see we have Granville in the house. Do we have anything to report?
Uh-oh.
Mayor Lewis, welcome.
How are the lights
Good
doing?
morning.
Lights are doing good.
Great.
So we're almost at the end of that project, which I'm happy to report. Our engineer is calling back SGI to redo some of the pavement markings, and possibly we will add a few as well. There is a timing concern at the crosswalk at WVU and Walmart, so we may have a small change order. It's very minimal, maybe, I think it's less than $5,000. But the good news is we are quite under budget, so it won't hurt us in our original estimate. We're still going to come in under budget.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
All right, next we have reports from county commissioners. Sean?
Obviously, so we've been working a lot on the budget. We've had a lot of meetings since our last public meeting here on Wednesday. Last Thursday, I had a Milan Park Executive Committee meeting, and then I met with a constituent, and then we had our MMPO meeting. Friday, I had a JUMA meeting, which regarding the Aquatic and Track Center. Then we had staff reports, and we had our final budget discussions. Yesterday, I had a broadband tag-up with our local team. Today's a regular day. We have one work session, and then we have staff reports, I believe. Tomorrow, Board of Health, meeting with, I think all three of us are meeting with constituent in the Richard area? Okay. That is tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
1 o'clock.
All right, over some water issues. And then Friday, I have another JUMA meeting. So I think I've said enough. Thanks to everybody for all your hard work, and glad to get another budget over the finish line.
Tom?
Yeah, I just want to go back to the cleanup. This is the first ever that everyone's working together with the DOH to do that, and the Saturday is more of a cleaning up the garbage and trash, and then Sunday we're actually going to be in the middle of the road and doing some things there and do actual cleanup. And I would be amiss if I didn't say I see Jimmy Smith here, and Homeland Security is also offering one of their signs to put up. So we're going to have the sign too. So we will have signage. We're going to have everyone contributing, and we really appreciate that. And hopefully, if it works well, we have other projects that we want to do. So I'm looking forward to that. Second, I had a meeting with Anthony DeFelice and Dr. Huggins. Actually, it was about Pantry Plus More and some programs that we did, and I was real excited. They took a lot of time because they explained that one of their new directives, and I didn't realize there was one, is in community health, and they really want to move in that direction. And we came up with some really neat ideas and programs, and working with not only the nonprofits, but with other areas to really promote community health, because what we learned is if we can start preventive, it solves the problems down the road. So I was really excited with our meeting there. On the other side, I also had a meeting an hour later with a representative from Mountaineer Food Bank. Unfortunately, we have learned that two major sources that they use for food that they have been getting have been gutted, and that's the best way I can explain it. The TFAB program and this other program where they buy food from local farmers and areas has been gutted. We're not sure what it means, but if you cut this much out, it means that we're not going to have as much food for those individuals who need it. They asked for some suggestions and ideas, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm going to be very blunt. Not only is it going to affect the individuals who get the food, but also those farmers and community members in West Virginia that sell the food. We're very worried about what's going to happen, and I'm not too sure about that. I think that is it. Let me make sure. Yeah. One more thing. I will say, as an individual county commissioner, I will say it again, as an individual county commissioner, I do want to thank the medical community, the teachers, the parents who called down, and all 5 delegate members from Monongalia County voted against Senate Bill 460. I do want to make that, I think that may be the first time ever that all 6 have all voted together. And hopefully we will move forward, and if we have to tweak that area with childhood vaccinations, I don't see any problem with that, but I'm really proud of the overall decision by voting it down. As said, as a individual Monongalia County Commissioner. Okay. Now I'll be quiet.
Okay. I'd like, speaking of DOH, work continues out on Route 119 at I-68 to Easton Hill. The project's been coming along. It's been a long time coming. It's taken a long time. There is, if you're coming into town from the Cheat Lake area, please be careful at the exit because of the markings of that. They're working on that first section off the exit coming into town. So traffic this morning was backed up to the interstate. Several cars passed the exit, so I was nearly rear-ended, and I'm sure that's been an issue for others. So just proceed with caution towards that intersection. But would like to thank DOH for their efforts in getting that road fixed. You can drive down that road now without needing a new front-end alignment, so that's been great. During the budget discussion, Tom made a comment that we were fortunate to have a diversified economy. I agree with that. I think we are just as, if not more, fortunate to have these 2 individuals working on the budget the way they do. Their understanding of the scope, their ability to master the numbers and the spreadsheets, Sean and Renette are kind of a whiz team when it comes to this, and can't express my appreciation for all their efforts in getting this budget together. We all put in hours, but theirs can't be really replicated. So thank you for all your work and effort, and that's all I have. Anything else? Nope. Then we are adjourned.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We're adjourned.
We be gone now.